Hello for Math on April 1st, 2020. We're working on Math Lesson 7.3, and it's called Solving Number Stories Using Time, Mass, Volume, and Length. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is in your baggie packet, I put the Guide to Solving Number Stories. We've gone over it a million times. Yours isn't white. I think I made it a gold color or something like that, so you might want to dig that out and pause the video right now to make sure you have it. Okay, once you have the Guide to Solving Number Stories, take a look at it and remind yourself how your brain should be thinking as you solve each one of these problems. First part says make sense of the problem. Read it. Remember how I've told you, the number one reason kids get things wrong in math is they did not read it correctly. So read the problem and ask adults or ask someone else if there are words that you can't understand or are having trouble reading. You can also message me. What do you understand? What do you know? What do you need to find out? We've asked that repeatedly all year long, and you guys remember that. Then you need to make a plan. How are you going to solve the problem? Are you going to use repeated addition? Are you going to multiply? Are you going to draw a picture? Are you going to make an array? Make sure your plan fits the story and will work for you. Don't choose to use repeated addition when it's a different story. So make sure it's going to match what you want to find out. Then solve the problem and show your work. Don't be afraid to use what kind of paper? Scratch paper. No one is super smart enough that they need to never use scratch paper. So go ahead and doodle on your paper, write it down. You have all your notebooks at home, so that shouldn't be an issue. And then last of all, also when you write your answer, write the units that it's in. Remember, maybe they're talking about inches. Then you're going to put inches with your answer. Maybe they're talking about miles, you'll put miles. Maybe with mass, you might put kilograms. Or with volume, you might put what you just learned about, ml, milliliters, or liters. Then, does your answer make sense? That goes with, how do you check it? You can use a calculator to check it. I don't have a problem with that, but you don't use the calculator to figure it out. How do you know it makes sense? Well, maybe the answer is smaller than what you started with and that it was a different story. So you need to make sure that your answer also makes sense. So you have this paper, use it. Okay, now I'm going to have you get your math journal out, page 224. So go ahead and pause the video and go find your math journal. Okay, math journal page 224 says number stories with measures. Solve each problem, show your work using drawings, number models, or words. Remember to write the unit with each answer. Now I am going to go over each one of these problems with you. I'm going to encourage you and try and get you to have some ideas on how to solve them. I will not be giving you the answers. When you're finished, you will take a picture of both pages and send it to me, and that'll be my math check for you today, along with your extra math, which you're supposed to be doing every day, which people are not, so just keep in mind I'm checking that. All right, we're going to start with problem number 1. So I want you to follow along with me. Use your pencil and circle the important parts, whatever parts you think you need to remember. Remember, we're going for the first part. What do we understand from the story? Okay, number 1. Kiana has 40 inches of green ribbon. She wants to cut it into 9 4-inch pieces to make Earth Day award ribbons. Does Kiana have enough ribbon? Now, what do I understand? She has 40 inches of green ribbon. I can see that in my head. I found some white ribbon at my house. So if you have some ribbon, you can work through that. You don't have to have it. But I can pretend this is 40 inches. And she wants to cut it into pieces. And going back and reading, it says she wants to cut it into 9 pieces. Okay, 9 pieces, but how long are those pieces? Oh, it says 9 4-inch pieces. So what you're going to have to find out is, does Kiana have enough ribbon? So you're going to have to figure out what am I going to do? What strategy am I going to draw the ribbon? Am I going to do some number sentences, multiplying, dividing, subtracting? What's my plan for finding the answer? I know that she needs to have 4-inch long pieces of ribbon, and I know she needs to have 9 of them. Go ahead and take some time on that problem. When you write your answer, make sure you put inches. There's also a question on this problem that says, how much ribbon, if any, would she have left over? Now, you could also get a piece of string and pretend that it's the ribbon, if you have something you want to pretend that it's the ribbon. But you'll have to measure out 40 inches and then see how many 4-inch pieces you get. Okay. Pause if you need to work for a while, and then come back to the video when you're ready for number 2. Okay, number 2. The city zoo is home to a male African lion. And it just so happens I have quite the fierce beast with me. This is a puppet that I made out of paper mache and a balloon and yarn and some felt. I even put a tail on him. This was what I did in college. I had to make something for art. So here's my male African lion. He's waving at you. All right. The city zoo is home to a male African lion. After the lion arrived, he gained about 8 kilograms of mass each month for 8 months. It's kind of like gaining weight. He now has a mass of about 186 kilograms. What was the lion's starting mass? Usually when you and I are talking about somebody gaining weight, we talk about pounds. In this case, they're just using kilograms. So what do I understand from this story? Well, I know there's a lion who came to the zoo, and every month he gained 8 kilograms, and this went on for 8 months. So 8 times he gained 8 kilograms. Now we don't know what he started with, but we know that he now has a mass of about 186. So the end of the story is 186 kilograms. But they want to know, what was he to begin with? So we know how much he's been gaining, and we know how much he ended up with. So you need to think about a strategy. How would you decide how to solve the problem to find out what he started with? Maybe you'll draw a picture. Maybe you'll write down some numbers. Maybe you'll make a diagram and put a question mark for the unknown amount. Maybe question mark plus the 8 kilograms every month. And then you're going to have to find the difference towards the end. So you go ahead and work on that problem. Your unit for your answer would be kilograms. I want you to pause the video and work on that problem, and be sure and ask me questions. You can email me questions all the time. Now, sometimes my email gets bogged down with other things, but make sure they're important questions, or questions that you have that are important to help you finish your problem. So pause the video now. Go ahead and work on number 2. Okay, number 3. You're going to need to look at a clock for this one, I believe. Lena has a doctor's appointment at 8:45 a.m. It takes her 25 minutes to drive to her doctor's office. How many minutes early will Lena be if she leaves at 8 a.m.? And your unit is going to be in minutes. So what do I understand? I understand she's got a doctor's appointment at 8:45. It takes her 25 minutes to get there. Now, the ending part, the question says, how many minutes early will Lena be if she leaves at 8 a.m.? So I want to find out, what I want to know is how many minutes early she is. If she leaves at 8 a.m. and it takes her 25 minutes to get there, and then she has to be there at 8:45. So again, I'm finding the difference between 8:45 and the time she gets there if she leaves at 8. So you can do some adding. What's your strategy going to be? You're going to draw a picture of the clocks. Are you going to, let's see what else, use a clock? Some of you might have a pretend clock at home. You could, I just lost my train of thought. I think drawing the clocks would probably be the best one. You could do some adding. Count it on your clock at home if you have a clock with a face on it. Okay. At what time must Lena leave to arrive at exactly 8:45 a.m.? So there's 2 questions to go with problem number 3. Okay. Go ahead and question me. Send me emails to ask me questions about problem number 3 if you're confused or having troubles. Okay. Sometimes it helps to draw a picture of the story too, of the people and everything. So go ahead and use some time. This is going to take you a little bit. Okay. Pause again to work on problem number 3. Okay, problem number 4 has a picture of beaker A and beaker B. Now, beakers are just glass containers that are used for science and things like that. They're both in milliliters. They both go up to 1,000 milliliters. Now, the question is, how much more liquid is in beaker B than beaker A? So you're going to have to look at the units and how the beakers are marked. And then you're going to have to use some type of operation to find out the difference. You're going to have to recognize what the measurement is for beaker A and what the measurement is for beaker B. I think you can do that one. I don't think that one's going to be too tricky for you. Remember, your unit that you're writing the answer in is milliliter. Take some time and work on number 4. Okay, number 5. Tomas wants to figure out the liquid volume of his glass. He fills a 50 milliliter beaker with water and empties it into his glass 4 times. His glass is now full of water. Then Tomas empties his glass into a 1 liter beaker. Shade the beaker to show how much water is in his glass. So you have 2 jobs on this one. You have the beaker on the side of the page where you're going to have to shade in how much water his glass will hold. That means color in with your pencil. Do it with pencil, because if you do it with marker or crayon and it's wrong, you're going to have to be doing some erasing. Now, what I understand from this is Tomas has a glass and he doesn't know how much it will hold. He wants to know how many milliliters it will hold. And he fills a beaker 50 milliliters with water, up to 50 milliliters, and then he dumps it in his glass 4 times. So it's 50 once, 50 twice. You get it, what I'm saying, 4 times. And then his glass is full. So then he dumps his full glass into this big beaker that is on your page 225. That's when you're going to shade in how high you think that water's going to go. And you're going to need to write down Thomas's glass holds about so many, and it's milliliters of water. So that's number 5. Drawing pictures might help you. Doing an operation, maybe addition, multiplication. See what subtraction, see what works for you. Use some scratch paper and take some time. That's problem number 5. All right. Your other assignment for math today, besides extra math, which I'm saying again that you guys need to get done, is Math Journal page 226. That's what I'm assigning you. That's what goes with lesson 7.3. Okay, now remember what I said. Read to understand. Reading is one of the toughest parts of math. You have to stop, read, stop, think about it. Read, stop, think about it. And make sure that you are using your guide to solving number stories. You guys have a lot of skills, so remember to give it a try. Okay? Talk to you soon.